Good morning, evening, or afternoon to all of you beautiful people. Josh here to bring you some sweet voice-based content. So some say that silence is golden, and if that's the case, then silent protagonists are the gold standard of video games. I am kidding, of course, but I do firmly believe that silent protagonists are not given the love and respect that they should be. Obviously, we do have notable silent protagonists in gaming, but more often than not, the most famed and beloved and lauded over protagonists are the ones that have really deep, dialogue-heavy, lore-inspired character backgrounds. And no more is this evident than in the voice performances of these characters. Now, I'm not blind to the amazing performances of some of these video game characters. I've gushed no end to friends and whoever will listen about the amazing performances of Haley Joel Osment as Sora in the Kingdom Hearts series, the amazing performance of Christopher Judge as Kratos in God of War, and even here on this channel I've dedicated entire videos to performances such as Brian Beacock as Monokuma in Danganronpa. But today I wanted to give some love to what I firmly believe might be one of the hardest character types to voice in video games. Let's talk today about why the voice of a silent protagonist truly matters. So without any further ado, let's go! So first off, let's talk about what a silent protagonist actually is. And for the most part, it's pretty self-explanatory. A silent protagonist is a protagonist of a video game who goes through the majority of the game without saying anything or saying very little. Normally the exceptions will be interjections, small phrases, fight noises, things like that. Silent protagonists are traditionally used in role-playing games in order to help the player immerse more in the game as they're truly role-playing as the character. Now, silent protagonists do have a bit of a spectrum in terms of how silent they are. They range from the completely mute, such as Gordon Freeman in Half-Life and the protagonist of every single Pokemon game, to having dialogue limited to fight noises such as the early versions of the Doomslayer in Doom. Personally, I'm a bigger fan of silent protagonists in the latter category, but this can still depend. Unless a character is a complete blank slate and given to me to entirely customize, like in games like Dark Souls, Fable, Code Vein, Skyrim, I personally like to have a little bit of personality interjected into the character that I'm playing as. Nothing major or game-breaking or anything that would really destroy my immersion and me getting involved as becoming that character, but little nuances that give us an idea of how maybe the developers wanted this character to be seen. And the best example of that from recent memory, and the person I'm going to be using as my example in this, is Joker from Persona 5. One day I'll stop gushing about Persona 5, but that day is not today. Voicing a character like Joker who has that little bit of personality but still giving him the freedom to be what the player wants him to be, I think that could be one of the hardest things to do as a voice actor. But Xander Mobus does an incredible job giving Joker some small nuances with very little dialogue. The way I see it is that Joker is a pre-established character with a few nuances that you can then sort of mold from that. Whereas Akira or Ren or whatever you call him in game, that's the character you're really molding. That's who you're truly immersing yourself as. Because out of the two, Joker, if you want to treat them as two separate characters, he's the one that's more fleshed out. He's suave, he's confident, he's a leader. And this is shown in Joker's voice lines. The simple way that Xander Mobus performs lines such as "Ravage them!" It really gives this air of confidence that just wouldn't be there if Joker was completely silent. But at the same time, it's the minimal amount of these lines that allow you to take control of Akira as a character. This creates quite a unique environment in Persona 5, because not only do you play as Joker, who has these firmly established characteristics that you can then build from to create this newer version of Joker, or this nuanced version of Joker that you've created, but then you're also fully building Akira as a character outside of this. Joker will always be the confident, powerful, strong leader of the Phantom Thieves. That is a given. And this is purely just down to the fact that we hear more from the protagonist as Joker than we do as Akira. The voice lines and the way that Xander Mobus portrays Joker gives us this air of confidence that surrounds him. It tells us through his voice that he is a leader, he is strong, he is confident. But Akira, how he is portrayed, that's completely up to you. For you, Akira could be a complete playboy who romances every single girl he comes across and carefully has to plan his days around them, taking them on dates, romancing them slowly but surely. Or he's a completely oblivious friend-zoning dolt who completely friend-zones all of his female friends and spends all of his time with Yusuke. To be fair, best boy, so I could kind of understand. Or maybe he barely interacts with anyone at all and spends all of his time at the arcade or renting videos or video games. Or maybe he's purely into one girl and everybody else is friend zoned, but he still keeps up that friendly personality, still speaks to everyone, hangs out with them on the regular. But it's the duality of this that gives Joker that memorable personality, that performance. You remember Joker because of his powerful, commanding voice and the way he portrays himself, the way he carries himself. But Akira, you remember him for how you decided to play him. And I don't think that would be as prevalent if not for the incredible voice performance of Xander Mobus. But that's just one example that I went quite deep into, but regardless. Characters like Link have developed a memorable reputation, not just for the adventures that he goes on, but for those sounds, those sound bites that you catch while you're fighting, going through Hyrule. One of the biggest things we remember from Skyrim is the Fus Ro Dah, that incredible vocal shout. Somebody did that. And in the hands of a less invested, less committed voice actor, those lines could have been complete throwaways and we might not remember them today. There is a place for incredible voice acting for silent protagonists, but I think some real respect needs to be given because doing that much with very little is one of the hardest things that you can do as a voice actor, in my opinion. To be given such a small amount to work with a character's voice and to still make a performance that can truly stand the test of time, that is talent beyond my wildest dreams, and I commend everybody who I've mentioned who's voiced Link, who's voiced the Dragonborn, who to Xander Mobus, to anybody who's voiced a silent protagonist that we still remember to this day. It's an incredible feat. And there we go, that's pretty much what I wanted to say about the voicing of silent protagonists, and you know, a few minutes of me gushing over Xander Mobus for a bit, but it's a great performance, like, shut up. So let's throw the question out to you. What do you prefer? Do you think that a silent protagonist is better, or do you prefer the fully voiced and fleshed out protagonists? Or do you like a mix? Let me know in the comments below. I do genuinely want to hear how people react to this. If you did enjoy this video, how about hitting the like button and subscribing to my channel for more beautiful voice-based content? I'm aiming to hit 200 subscribers by the end of the year, so if you enjoy what I make, why not subscribe? It's completely free. Keep your eyes out for my next video as well. I do upload every 2 weeks, but until then, thank you for watching, and as always, stay wonderful.